Day one of the Australian Road Cycling Championships saw the individual time trial contested around the roads of Burrumbeet. The conditions were almost ideal. First up, it was the under-23 time trial, where Campbell Flakemore was starting as the pre-race favourite, but he would miss out not just on the win, but even on the podium. In third place, it was Miles Scottson, but it was a big battle for the gold medal, with Harry Carpenter setting the fastest time and having to wait for the arrival of Jordan Kerby. Kerby, the Queenslander, got him by 0.2 of a second. Kerby took the gold medal. Carpenter had to settle for silver.
I had the guys who I thought were favourites in my head, and I knew I was ahead of all of them. But yeah, Harry really stepped up today, and 0.2 of a second, that's a great ride by him, absolutely.
In the women's, the under-23 title went to Janelle Crooks in what was an emotional win for her. In the elite women's individual time trial, it was Shara Gillow starting as the defending champion, aiming for her fourth win in a row. Brady O'Donnell, a former winner of the Oceania Championships, was setting the leaderboard alight early with the quickest time, but it wouldn't survive through to the finish. O'Donnell settling for what was an impressive third-place finish. In the battle for gold, Felicity Wardlaw, the woman who won the bronze medal in a surprise performance 1 year ago, was no longer a surprise. She was setting the benchmark for the rest to chase. As she crossed the finish line, it was a new best time, with just Shara Gillow to come who could challenge her. As Gillow rounded the final corner approaching home, she was a handful of seconds down, and in the desperate run to the finish line, she wasn't quite quick enough, having to settle for second place. It was Wardlaw who took the win.
Really learned over the last 12 months, and I think it was this time last year at the Nationals, just to learn how to block all that pain out and just move that pain from the legs to just the finish line, and it was amazing.
In the men's individual time trial, it was Luke Durbridge, the big Western Australian, who was aiming for his third win in a row and was starting as the almost unbackable favourite. His main rival was expected to be Rowan Dennis, but Dennis was affected by the wind conditions, hit by a strong gust just 15 kilometres into the race and fell heavily. Michael Hepburn, though, was putting on good times at the midway point, although he was some 30 seconds down on Luke Durbridge with some 22 kilometres still to race. But Hepburn increased his speed towards the finish and set a blistering time across the line, and then had the anxious wait for Housen and Durbridge to arrive. As Housen came across the line, the reigning under-23 world champion, now up into the elites for the first time, he was outside the time of Hepburn. It was then the wait for Durbridge. As the defending champion came to the line, it was always going to be close, but not close enough. Hepburn getting the win, 11 seconds clear of Durbridge. It was a clean sweep of the podium for the ORICA-GreenEDGE team.
Yeah, it was a tough ride, tough course, pretty tough conditions. Being 45 kilometres was quite long as well. So going into it, I didn't quite expect, didn't know how I was going to go, but I felt like I was on a good one. And halfway check, I think I was a little bit down on Luke, and I just tried to come home strong, and luckily that was enough.